Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Good morning, happy Sunday, good day. Hope your weekend's going well. It's good to see you guys. Man, we're getting into Dead Space Day 3, Zealot difficulty. We'll keep pushing. I think we're at like chapter 7 right now, chapter 7 in the game. So I think we're probably roughly around halfway through something like that. So between probably we'll probably be hitting like end game tomorrow, something like that, and then Tuesday, probably Tuesday, something like that. We'll be pushing into Dead Space 3 for our Scaretober playthroughs. Yeah, which is putting us in a good position for Scorn on Friday. Scorn drops on Friday. We have been anticipating and watching and waiting for Scorn for a long time now. And we're excited to be playing. I know I'm excited to be playing Scorn whenever it drops. So what we'll do is we will probably be right there on course for finishing up the Dead Space series and moving right into Scorn. So, if we end up finishing up early, maybe if we have like Thursday in between finishing up the Dead Space games and Scorn dropping on Friday, we'll play something like Little Nightmares or Inside or just a game that we can potentially finish in one day to do a little bit of a nice little ominous, dark, Scaretober vibe. Not anything potentially horror-esque, but a nice, cool, chill little Halloween vibe kind of game to fill the day there between ending the Dead Space series and starting up Scorn. Okay, but today will be day 3, Zealot difficulty of Dead Space 2, just like I said. Before we get there, let's get over here and get into this video gaming news segment, okay? Let's go. Let's do what we do. Let's get it. All right, all right. Bully 2 could release after Grand Theft Auto 6, Rockstar Games Insider has stated. Let's take a look at that. That monitor. These are pretty cool, man. That is such a big monitor. Could you imagine having a 55-inch monitor just right here on your desk in a vertical layout? It just kind of curves up over you. 55 inches, dude. That's kind of insane. Atari Anniversary Collection, full list of games. Let's take a look at that. We've already talked about Google Stadia shutting down. If you're not in the know yet, Google Stadia is officially shutting down. It has been announced by Google. And this comes after a lot of speculation from outside sources outside of Google that have said that Stadia would be shutting down. And then Google kind of refuting those, you know, all that speculation and going, no, everything's fine, everything's fine. And then finally, I mean, that was probably over the last year, we've been getting a lot of that happening. And now they officially came out over the past 2 weeks and stated that they are shutting Google's streaming gaming service Stadia down, right? And they're refunding people. So I think it's in February when the official shutdown will happen, and you will no longer be able to access content on the Stadia platform. It will be completely completely finished. So if you need to know more, look into it. But that's basically your TLDR right there for what is happening with Google Stadia. We've taken a dive into it previously in the news segments. There's no need for us to really hash it back out, but that's what you need to know. All right. New Xbox Game Pass game gains over 500,000 players on release. Let's go. Let's see what that is. I'm not going to dive into this. Look, another 25 games that are better on the Switch OLED. I would say that most of the games probably look a bit better on the Switch OLED. What Nintendo needs is the next iteration. They need a new platform. I think that they killed it with the Switch. The Switch is amazing. The hardware is dated, right? We're talking about mobile technology as opposed to a traditional console where you can really pack in some big time heavy hitting kind of technology. And while mobile technology has come a long ways over the years, it still doesn't totally stack up to the power that something in, say, a traditional desktop or a traditional console gives you out of the box and in longevity for developers and for just gameplay experience. And at this point, stuff on the Switch is looking very dated. It's in my opinion, every time I see a new trailer come out for a game for the Switch, I see it and I go, they need a new console. They need new hardware. If you look at, what the Switch is and the hardware that it runs, and we're talking about a 6-year-old console now, and then you go and take a look at something similar like just in that space of a handheld type of console and what Valve has just created in the Steam Deck, there's been a significant improvement in the type of technology and hardware that can be utilized in that space in today's day. And Nintendo desperately needs to come out with their next iteration of the Switch or whatever they want to call it. That console's, it's absolutely the concept behind it is amazing and they nailed it, but it's dated and they need something new. So while games are going to look better on the Switch OLED because it's got a better visual experience, ultimately the Switch in and of itself needs better underlying hardware. This is a bag of worm. This is a rabbit hole right here. Okay, how many CPU cores do you really need for gaming? This varies from game to game, kind of on what kind of performance you're going to get in the way a game's developed, what kind of engine it's developed on. There are certain games that will run better utilizing less cores, and there are certain games that will run better utilizing more cores and more threads. But usually, if you're just gaming, you don't need a 12 core processor, something like that. But quite often today, people aren't just gaming, right? That's the thing to take into account. Quite often today, there's a lot of, multi-processing stuff that's going on outside of just what people are doing in gaming. You're gaming, you've got, tabs open, you got windows open, you're doing video editing, there's all kinds of other stuff that you're dealing with all the time. Your PC's running, and while it's not all just loaded up onto your CPU, there's a lot of other hardware that to take into account, especially in regards to like RAM things like that help offload and do a lot of the you know processing and they all play a part in this role, right? Um, Anybody that's doing a lot of multitasking, um, CPU heavy, especially processes on their computer while also gaming, are going to benefit from more cores, right? You read about this yesterday. Here's what you need to know: Origin launcher is gone or it's leaving. The way EA has made the sound is that they are replacing Origin launcher with what is now going to be referred to as the EA app. It is an kind of a new platform for them. You can download it from EA's website and install it, and it will replace Origin on your device, on your PC or whatever. So you don't necessarily have to install, you shouldn't have to, anyways, install the EA app, delete the Origin software, anything like that. It should just take it over, okay? It should install over it, take the Origin stuff out, and everything should transfer over your friends list, your games, all that stuff. From what I've read so far, it seems like a more intuitive, more nicely designed platform for people to utilize, more functional, and so that's basically what it is. Okay, we talked about it yesterday. We saw it, and they haven't given a definitive date, but they have come out and kind of been quoted as saying that eventually everybody will have to move over to the EA app if you're going to be utilizing games on EA's platforms moving forward, or accessing their content on their platform moving forward. PlayStation's remakes and remasters keep making the what? We've talked a lot about this here recently. Keep making the same mistake. We might read into this. We'll see. We've talked a lot about that here recently, so I don't know that we necessarily need to dive into it. It's going to be a lot of repetition that we've already covered a lot of that. So, but we'll see. We already talked about this too. Look, I'm not going to dive into the Silent Hill stuff. There's Silent Hill stuff coming. Just know that. After all the basically Konami has not come out and been, really official on anything Silent Hill, but there has been a enough unofficial, substantial unofficial stuff, that has kind of leaked out about the fact that we have Silent Hill things coming to confirm that we definitely have Silent Hill headed our way. Yo, Dutch, what's up, man? I'm good, buddy. How are you? So from images that got leaked and Konami immediately DMCA'd them to be taken down, to things like the more recent what we went over yesterday and what this is about with I can't remember the director's name right now, but the director of the first Silent Hill movie, which was amazing in my opinion. I loved it. I like horror movies though. Follow F1. I do not follow F1, Dutch. What's going on, man? Are you talking about games or just F1 in like real life? But no, I don't follow F1. Nope. But hit me with it, man. What's up? The second movie was pretty brutal in my opinion. I didn't like it, but the director of the first movie is coming back to direct the second movie and has basically confirmed that they've seen that there are new games coming our way and things like that. So look, just know that there are more Silent Hills coming. Okay, there's been a lot of stuff that's basically confirmed that. Hmm. Oh, got you. Right on, Dutch. Cool, man. Right on. Solid. Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Um. Yeah, I think. That's crazy, dude. 4 more races and it already got it on lock. That's wild, man. Right. Right. So, if somebody was to win the next 4 races, the closest they could even come would be like 13 within 13 points of max. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of wild, dude. That's kind of wild. Jeez. Right on. GG's, man. It's very anticlimactic for the end of the F1 season there, isn't it? How you doing, buddy? How's your weekend been? Redfall release date possibly leaked. If you're not familiar with what Redfall is, okay, Redfall is the other title coming out from Bethesda outside of Starfield. I'm not super hyped. Look, I'm not really super hyped about anything coming out from Bethesda anymore. So um, we'll take a look and see. Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden get 2023 release. Let's take a look at that. Wait, what? Sony should buy Nintendo before someone else does. Let's look at that. Oh, gonna play some Valheim? Let's go, Dutch. Uh, right. Right. Yeah. 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 Cool, man. Cool. Dude, Valheim's such a great game. That is such a fantastic title. We just played it not too long ago, and I had such a great experience playing that game. Fortnite adds X23 with adamantium claws to item shop. Take a quick peek. Let's go ahead and move into our other search here. See what else we can find. Enjoy that Valheim gameplay, dude. That game is sick. I'm so happy that they're also getting a console version of that setup, and it's going to be on Game Pass. I mean, it's already on Game Pass for PC, but it will be on Game Pass for Xbox as well once they finally get the console version of it complete. Valheim is so good. That's such a great game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very great. I mean, amazing title. Hideo Kojima posts first images of Ellie Fanning on the set of his new project. So we saw a very cryptic kind of post the other day where Hideo Kojima had tweeted out a silhouette of an actor that was going to be in his new project, and people very very quickly figured out that it was Ellie Fanning. So let's take a look at this real quick. Okay. PS Plus extra and premium games for October. Are these? Is this different than what we already looked at? Take a quick peek. I think we've already hit the games that we've already seen and have noted as coming for or are already out. I think for PS Plus Extra and Premium for October, or PS Plus across the board for October. Injustice 2, Super Hot, and Man, why am I blanking the third one? We'll take a look. We'll take a look. Valve's under fire. We're gonna take a look at this. We saw this yesterday. Uh, Twitch came out from Valve that had an image of the Steam Deck on it, and the Steam Deck software was showing a Nintendo Switch emulator app on it. So let's take a look at this. Look again, and I pointed this out yesterday. I think that addressing the emulator space in the world of gaming is very, very difficult for us because my stance on it is that emulating current gen, new gen, even into like what would be like last gen, say Xbox One, PlayStation 4, stuff like that. Emulating those consoles is, in my opinion, taboo. It shouldn't really be done uh, because that is not good for the industry, right? It's a way to. I mean, it's right there on par with. It's basically pirating, right? I mean, that's what it is. It is being able to play games and platforms, play the software and the platforms, the software for those platforms on hardware that shouldn't normally they shouldn't normally be played on, and it normally allows people to play it for free. They don't have to pay anything, and that just it hurts the industry, man. Look, we talk a lot about how the industry is doing some really, really scummy stuff in terms of monetization. Yeah. And whether it be raising the what the norm is now for games, brand new games coming out from $60 to $70, or how quick they are to have DLC out all the time. And like a game will drop, it'll be full price, and then a month and a half later they'll have DLC that costs $40, and it's like that stuff was already ready on release, or the cash shops they have, and the loot boxing, and the list goes on and on and on, right? And that's not good either. And shame on developers, for uh, how money hungry and greedy a lot of the AAA, especially. Thank God for indie devs. Indie devs are really the ones that have held up the industry for us, and are giving us all hope. But at the same time, and all of this kind of exacerbates an issue for one another. They drive up prices. It creates a barrier for people to get into the industry and enjoy the entertainment, the world that we love, and therefore they result to, or they resort to methods that are not legitimate to get access to those titles, piracy, emulators, what have you, to play the games because they can't afford them, right? And it just keeps creating more and more issue on both sides. It goes up and up and up, right? And so, but I do feel like emulation is plays a very important role in allowing people to access the history of video games, and allows us, helps give people access to the history of video games, and allowing us to maintain access to the roots of this world that we love, right? The where we are now, and where it all came from. And that's very important in my opinion. Whereas a lot of whether it be Nintendo, or PlayStation. Xbox is better about it than any of the other big platforms and stuff, but a lot of the times they're not real good about giving us access to those older titles. And it's not just the console makers. I mean, it's developers themselves. This all of this is an issue. Developers die out. They publishers die out. There are a lot of different issues that go along with this specific topic, but I definitely feel that emulators play a part, but it shouldn't be in giving people illegitimate access to, new gen, current gen games and consoles, But we'll take a look at this real quick. Yeah, we took a quick look yesterday at the Street Fighter 6 beta. We haven't seen this though. We'll pull this up. We haven't seen game beta gameplay. What we did see was character creation was really, really wild. And how the hitboxes on these characters that were being created was going to work was, just like the article said, they weren't sure how that was going to work out because we were talking about people with giant torsos and miniature legs and stuff, or vice versa. I mean, there was all kinds of wild stuff happening, and I don't know. It was really, really wild. I don't know how Capcom's going to be able to address that without making some kind of normalcy to the character creation there, because you can actually take those characters and not just play them in like the story mode of the game. You can actually take them online and play other people with them and everything too. We've already got this up. We've already talked a lot about System Shock. We saw a lot of Pokemon Scarlet stuff yesterday. We watched a very long, like 14-minute long gameplay video yesterday. So I'm not going to dive into this. We've seen stuff on System Shock. It looks like it could be very good, potentially. Hopefully coming in March 2023. Take that with a grain of salt, okay? This is speculative. We've seen some of the Blade gameplay as well, so I won't dive into that either. Last page. Nintendo's new Legend of Zelda promo reignites theories. Let's take a look at that. League of Legends preseason update makes pings much better, probably, I think. Much more, pings much more useful. Oh, pings in the game, much more useful. Okay. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday as well. There is, it looks like Square has come across some information that apparently has been concerning enough for them to let their player base know that they're concerned people are, or aware even, that it looks like there are people trying to hack many Final Fantasy 14 player accounts, and they are trying to get ahead of the ballgame here and telling everybody that they need to be changing their passwords. And I don't know. We'll see what comes there. Dead by Daylight will be available for free on Xbox this Halloween. Here's the deal. I am not going to get into anything that promotes Star Citizen, okay? If you are not familiar with what Star Citizen is, this is a game that was slated to full release in 2014, if I remember correctly. This went into like a Kickstarter early development kind of phase in 2010, around that time, and was supposed to be full releasing in 2014. And it is still only playable in what is referred to as modules. This is one of the highest grossing game development productions in the history of gaming. We've talked about it in the news segment before. Here's what I'll do. It's actually insane. No, not tools, dude. Pre-production of the game began in 2010. Production starting in 2011. The launch of the game was originally anticipated for 2014 and has been repeatedly delayed. After the initial Kickstarter ended, Cloud Imperium Games continued to raise funds through the sale of ships and other in-game content, and is now noted for being the highest crowdfunded video game and one of the highest funded crowdfunding projects overall, having raised over $500 million as of September of this year. And the game is still not full release. It's modules you can play. Little bits and pieces of this game. And we are talking a game that was supposed to release 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Absurd. Oh, I mean,
that one was on me.
That one was on Wick. Absolutely. Sack, what's up, buddy? I was going to throw this in here. So if anybody is not familiar with... man, I really screwed that up. Hold on. If anybody wants to know more about what Star Citizen is, then you can take a look at that. It is absurd. I will not dive into any article that seems like it's going to promote anything coming out for that title, because it is absolutely absurd what has happened with this title, and how long it has taken them to still not have a fully playable game after this long, and how much money they've raised. I won't do it. What's up, buddy? How's your day going? Dude, hockey's up almost here, bro. I'm so psyched. That's it. Let's get into these articles. Is that Swamp Thing, dude? Dead by Daylight will be available for free on Xbox this Halloween. Oh, yeah. Doing better? Good, dude. I'm glad. That's awesome. Developers of DBD are planning a new weekend for the popular multiplayer game. Players across platforms, including Xbox consoles, may play Halloween multiplayer horror for free. From October 27th through November 1st, Dead by Daylight will be available for free on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and other relevant gaming platforms. Currently, Dead by Daylight developers will offer new Halloween content. Next week, the game will receive a new feature from Daylight, new characters, and 13 Book of Archives. You can see that Dead by Daylight is available now with Game Pass. Cool, man. So there you go. If you're into doing a little bit of some Halloween horror multiplayer gameplay stuff, and a long-standing, notable title that a lot of people enjoy, Dead by Daylight, man. Yeah. You guys trying to tank again for another pick, dude? Jeez. Jeez, bro. I'm good, dude. I'm good. I'm good, man. We're gonna get a good, nice day of some Dead Space in. No way. You guys are gonna win it all this year. No. You guys are gonna win it all. Everybody's gonna tank against you. Everybody's gonna tank against the Habs, dude. Is what's gonna happen. You know it? You're gonna be like, nah. Habs got picked this year. Habs got the pick this year. Nah, we're not letting them get another one. They're gonna tank against you guys. Nah, everybody's gonna tank against you guys, dude. They're gonna be like, nah, Habs got the pick last year. We're not letting them get it this year, dude. Dallas just finally got Robertson on contract. It's not as long as one as I figured they would put him on, but we didn't have to get rid of anybody either to get the contract done, so it's good stuff. So we got Ottinger on contract. Those were our two restricted free agents that we had to get taken care of. Were Ottinger and Robertson, and got both of those guys taken care of. So feels good, dude. The team's whole and ready to rock, man. So see how it goes. Had some changes and on the team in the off season, as most teams do, and we'll see how it plays out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the bad thing about a full rebuild, right? Yeah, that's the bad thing about a full rebuild is it's definitely one of those things that it can work well or it cannot, right? I mean we've seen it happen both ways across the board, and that's usually the way it goes. Is like, um, it leaves you with a lot of vulnerabilities, right, on the team, and it takes a number of years to kind of figure all that out if it ends up turning into something good. Yeah. Valve under fire after showing Switch emulator in Steam Deck video. I am glad you're feeling better, buddy. The Steam Deck has been a huge hit with over 1 million units sold back in August, but the Steam Deck has recently come under fire for showing people using a Nintendo Switch emulator called Yuzu in a recent YouTube video. Yo, by the way, I didn't look. I wasn't watching OBS. I'm, obviously doing the news and stuff, but I did minimize or minimize. I did decrease the size of the text for the notifications that come on screen. You guys were talking about how it looked a little bit too big. I took the text down a bit. So today, as we're working through the news and the gameplay and stuff, if you guys could give me a little bit of feedback on how everything looks. Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad either, but I did get a little bit of feedback saying that it seemed like maybe it was a bit too much, So I did decrease it a bit. I think it's better, probably, for those people that thought it was too big. So if you guys could just give me some feedback as we move forward, as things are getting redeemed, and let me know how it looks, I'd appreciate it. The Steam Deck has been a huge hit with over 1 million units sold back in August, but the Steam Deck has recently come under fire for showing people using a Switch emulator called Yuzu in a recent YouTube video. The 3-minute, we talked about this yesterday, right? And you can see it right here. You see that little app right there. This is a Switch emulator, right? The 3-minute YouTube video included a split-second moment where some gamers noticed the Yuzu logo on the Steam Deck home screen. When one Twitter user spotted it, the tweet blew up, causing the video to be taken down and replaced with a nearly identical video minus the Yuzu logo. Why did Valve remove the Yuzu logo from the Steam Deck video? Video game emulation has long been controversial in the gaming world, especially with Nintendo. As far back as 2018, Nintendo announced its new stance on emulators, allowing Nintendo games to be played on a PC. The introduction of emulators created to play illegally copied Nintendo software represents the greatest threat to date to the intellectual property rights of video game developers. Nintendo stated, as is the case with any business or industry, when its products become available for free, the revenue stream supporting that industry is threatened. Such emulators have the potential to significantly damage a worldwide entertainment software industry, which generates over $15 billion annually and tens of thousands of jobs. Nintendo fans have often argued back against Nintendo, wondering how using emulators to play classic Mario games would impact any sales for the company, since those are no longer purchased directly from Nintendo. So this is kind of what I was just talking about when we pulled this article up earlier. Is, I do find it to be very taboo and not good for the industry when people are using emulators to run software to play games on that would be current gen stuff. Current gen, even into, last gen things that are still purchasable, that is not necessarily good for the industry, right? And but emulators are a fantastic thing that should be utilized to the utmost extent for us to be able to continue to promote and let people experience the history of the gaming universe and the gaming world, and show the progression of what we have gotten done that has led us to this point, right? And Dutch, I've talked a lot. We've talked about that a lot. And, I think one of the reasons that piracy has become such a big deal is because people have felt duped so many times. And there are many people that are in the same shoes as yourself, where it's like, I use it to try a game, and if I enjoy the game, I'll purchase it, right? I think, and to be completely honest, I think the big downfall to that mindset and methodology, while a lot of people probably do follow through with that, right? Yeah, psych, absolutely. That's always been the case. And back in the early 2000s, this all started with music and everything, right? Music and videos, things like that, with, what was it, like LimeWire and dude, all those sites, it was like, that's where it all started. And it's just kind of, as technology does, it's evolved into Napster, dude. Thank you. Yeah, Napster, bro. It's evolved into what it is today, and it's gotten its way into the gaming world. And I mean, here's the thing. I understand why certain people will use it in the way that Dutch was just Pirate Bay's. Now, yep, that's one of the big ones now. And I understand the way Dutch is talking about it being utilized in that aspect. People have felt duped and scammed out of their money too many times nowadays, where I'll use a game like Cyberpunk, for instance, comes out. It gets overly hyped up, and people buy it day one, and they feel like they wasted their hard-earned money, right? And what it does, it puts people in this mind state where they go, it's not going to happen to me again, And so instead of getting duped or feeling like they've had their money stolen again, they get into this mindset where they go, I'm just going to start trying the games out before I decide to buy. And I understand that mindset. The where it gets dangerous, I think, is that where a lot of people will probably start off with that mindset, they'll go, well, I've already got the game. Why would I pay for it now? Well, and Dutch, that's what I was getting to as well. That's where I was headed, actually. That's where I was headed. So demos, if you notice, demos have actually made a huge resurgence, dude. So you're saying we also need free demos. Demos have made a huge resurgence. So if you go take a look at Steam right now on a lot of the games that are coming out in the coming months, there are the majority of them have demos now. And I've talked about this a lot in the news segment over the past half year. It's one of those things where I think the gaming industry has finally realized, because demos used to be a huge thing back in the day. Everything had a demo almost, and then it just left and it just went away. And I think that a lot of developers went, we need people to be able to see what we're offering them without having to buy into it, and try to get people to quit using the piracy method. Quit going to pirate sites. Give them a taste of what we're offering here. And so you've seen a huge resurgence in demos, which is fantastic, And I get where people are coming from. I understand, man. No, I detest the mindset that developers have nowadays of just push it out. Whatever's wrong, we'll patch it after the fact. I hate that mindset, and it drives me crazy. So I absolutely understand why people would resort to using piracy to not get themselves into a situation where they feel like they've been scammed out of their money again, And I don't know. The industry needs to do better. And I think there's change slowly. I think they're changing slowly to make, but at the same time, they're not doing themselves any favors either by, again, what I was talking about whenever I found this article today initially. The industry is not doing themselves any favors by creating another roadblock to people gaining access to video games through continually increasing prices, creating more, there's just more and more and more and more and more obstacles in regards to money when people in accessing games. So whether it be, going from the norm of what traditionally had been $60 for the longest time now, $60 for a brand new game, to now what is being turned into $70, right? Or, a game releases now for $70, you pay that, and then a month and a half later, you've got DLC content that costs $40. Or, in-game cash shops, right? Or loot boxes, or, battle passes, or what have you, right? I mean, it's, they're not doing themselves any favors either, right? To try and get people access to the game. And I'm not talking every single developer, but a lot of the big developers are doing this, that's for sure. So ultimately, I think emulators are great. Emulators are fantastic. It gives people the ability to go back, because let's be honest, Nintendo and PlayStation suck at giving people access to their old titles. They suck at it. Xbox is better. They're not fantastic, but they're better than the other two. And that's just talking about the main console creators, right? And outside of independent developers and stuff like that, who, those studios are constantly dying, and their IPs are being bought by companies that will no longer, actually do anything with them potentially. And there are a lot of different things to go into this, but emulators play a very important role, as far as I'm concerned, in keeping people in touch with the history of what gaming is. So emulators absolutely should be utilized in respect to giving people access to the history of the world that we love. Nintendo fans have often argued back against Nintendo, wondering how using emulators to play classic Mario games would impact any sales for the company, since those are no longer purchased directly from Nintendo. So seeing the Steam Deck promote Yuzu was a huge hit for the gaming community, with many replying that they would be using the Steam Deck to emulate the Switch. See, I don't, that's not healthy for the industry, dude. It's just not. It's just not. Yuzu is an emulator that allows gamers to play Switch games on devices that aren't the Switch. Which usually means PCs, but the Steam Deck is basically a portable PC, making it another option for Yuzu users. Emulated Switch games can either be pirated illegally or purchased and put into a ROM. Now, if the game is purchased and put into a ROM, fine. But almost always, what is happening here is you've got the platform or the console that's emulated through software, right? Like on this device, like Yuzu is. It turns this into a device that can emulate what the Switch does in running Nintendo games, right? And most of the time, the people themselves, each individual person is not going out and purchasing the game themselves and turning it into a ROM. It'll be like a few people that will go out, have purchased the game, turn it into a ROM, and it'll be floating out there on the internet, right? And then everybody else goes out and grabs the ROM and utilizes it themselves without paying for it. So that's another way in which this hurts the industry, right? So whether it be pirated illegally or you grab the game as a ROM that somebody else has purchased and you're using it for free, that's not your game. You know what I mean? And that's not healthy for the industry either. While promoting Yuzu was a controversial move on Valve's part, Steam Deck is already known for its emulation capabilities. People have been using the portable PC to play games for the Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. Now, see, this is where I think that this is great. Emulation is fantastic for this kind of thing. It's currently unknown if Nintendo caught wind of the Yuzu logo in the trailer or if Valve reacted based on Twitter chatter alone. Neither company has made a statement regarding the Yuzu logo just yet. So, I know everybody kind of has their own stance, and this is absolutely mine. I love video games. And while there is a lot that I see wrong with the industry, and I've pointed, a lot of fingers here right now in what I've talked about, I want the industry to be healthy. I want the industry to be healthy. I want developers to be able to continue to create great products for us and continue to generate revenue to remain, productive moving forward to continue to create that kind of content for us, that entertainment, the world that we love. And in my opinion, there's a place for emulation, and there's a place where emulation should not be used because it's not healthy for our industry. Street Fighter 6 gameplay, game beta, and live streaming. We saw some wild character creation stuff yesterday, man. Capcom broadcast Street Fighter 6 gameplay as a promotional campaign for this new installment. Now we have it available. One of the oldest franchises in the world of video games will soon have a new release. According to projections, Capcom will release the latest Street Fighter in 2023. The game is currently in the testing phase, so it is possible to have it active by that time. We have good news for you if you can't wait to play this title, or at least see it. Capcom allowed some players to participate in a 2-hour beta test of the game. Many people enjoyed this test, and now we have some gameplay videos to enjoy. To promote the game, Capcom created a closed beta of its Street Fighter 6. As part of this promotion, there was an event where the company broadcasted live gameplay. Fans registered on Capcom's website requesting to participate in the event. Currently, the registration to test the beta version of Street Fighter 6 gameplay is closed. However, the company does not rule out the possibility of opening new calls. You can also watch it online if you were not selected for the test or did not register in time. IGN is preparing a live stream of Capcom's test of the Street Fighter game. In this case, it will be available for everyone, and several channels and media are already prepared for it. Among the channels that IGN uses, we have its web portal, where the live broadcast will be available. You can also watch it from their Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitter account. In addition, you have the options of their applications both for Android, iOS, Android TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Pluton TV, and Plex TV Live. The test, as well as the broadcast, lasted approximately 2 hours. In it, we were able to see the new gameplay, new moves, and new characters. Broadcast would be the second sample they give us of the game, considering that the Street Fighter 6 trailer was released recently. What we know about the game so far. The game's developer, Capcom, is also organizing the events for its testing and promotions. As for the gameplay, 2 players can play simultaneously, fighting with the characters. Trailer shows a lot of new moves, both attacks and counterattacks. Game will be available for several devices, including PC, PS5, and Xbox. For all of them, it will be available on the release date, which will be in 2023, although Capcom did not reveal the exact date yet. Yeah. So far, the announced characters for SF6 will be Ryu, Ken, Guile, I think that's supposed to be Chun-Li and Bison. There's also Jamie, Kimberly, and Joby. As for the gameplay, has excellent mobility, also new super and effects when you perform them. They also include effects in what they call the counter punishers. but only when you manage to hit it. As for the resolution, the game can be played in high def, including 4K. Okay. Every super in the closed beta. Let's take a look real quick. Ooh, that's loud. Sorry, guys. I love fighting games, man. I haven't played them in a long time, but again, I love fighting games, and I love watching competitive fighting. People that are very good at fighting games. There's an incredible amount of knowledge that goes into not only being good at the characters you play, but knowing the characters you're going to be facing as well. And it's really, really cool to me. I mean, we're seeing a change of the guard here as well, if you will, in regards to Street Fighter 6 is coming out. What's the next Tekken? A new Tekken's been announced. And apparently MK12 is coming too, Mortal Kombat 12. So, a lot of these main big fighting franchises are coming out with their next, iteration in their series of these fighting games. I do not like Guile's goatee, dude. It is so gross looking. Guile needs to work on leg day, dude. his flipping torso is giant, dude. His arms are giant. I mean, his legs are not small, but... Now, Chun-Li's legs... Put Chun-Li's legs on Guile, dude. You know what I mean? Chun-Li's... She's got those hams, dude. Crush your skull. With thighs like watermelon. Yeah. So Jamie, I don't think Jamie was in Street Fighter 5. And Jamie, you know who Jamie reminds me of? Eddie from Tekken. Which is kind of weird. So I think Eddie was more of like a breakdance fighter, and I think Jamie is supposed to be more like a drunken master fighting style or whatever. But they still come off as being a very similar kind of characters. You are gonna get trashed, bro. Are we playing Street Fighter 6, Wick? Did we just become best friends? Yep. What's up, dude? How are the stores coming, man? How long until you back open, dude? Yuri's actually a really good character. Ken, dude. Ken's pretty dope. He got really good, dude, at the end of Street Fighter 5. Dude, they buffed him up a lot. What's funny is, like, I know this kind of stuff because I just occasionally will, like, watch some Street Fighter competitive stuff, you know? Not, like, super often, but... Who is this Kimberly, huh? Secret Arts! So she's got like a female like Vega kind of thing going on. It feels like. Yeah. Yeah, she's got Vega vibes with her fighting style. It looks good. It looks cool, man. Here's the thing, you know, Street Fighter's gonna do this whole thing where I'm pretty sure, anyways, they'll do the same thing they did with Street Fighter V, where it's like they'll release seasons of characters, and you'll have to buy into those, things like that. So I think you just need to be prepared for that, right? I think that's probably the way they'll end up doing Street Fighter 6, the same way they did Street Fighter 5. Nintendo new Legend of Zelda promo reignites theories about Tears of the Kingdom gameplay. This is, again, Tears of the Kingdom, not Tears of the Kingdom, okay? It is confirmed Tears. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom made a promotional appearance at the Nintendo Live event in Japan this week, and after seeing an exceptionally detailed statue of Link, Zelda fans are once again abuzz with theories about new gameplay mechanics that might be present in the Breath of the Wild sequel. The statue in question, which looks like a Zelda collector's dream, shows Link with his arm outstretched alongside a light-up feature, with that particular arm being a key focus of most of the gameplay theories so far. For many Zelda fans not in attendance at the Nintendo Live 2022 event, others share pictures and videos of the life-size statue online to show off the creation's various features. Both in those photos and videos, and in general, there's a notable emphasis on the blue-green arm Link has outstretched. Huh. Oh, is it Tears of the Kingdom? My bad. My bad, Wick. It must be Tears. Yeah. You're probably right. Huh. Look at that. We've seen this arm multiple times. In the few instances that Nintendo has shown off Tears of the Kingdom, I think it's Tears, including in the 2019 trailer. It's Tears that I can't pronounce enunciate the difference in those. Yo, Kayla, what's up? How are you? Including in the 2019 trailer for the game, before its name was confirmed, many of the popular theories suggest that this arm is colored this way because of some sort of corruption that started to spread through Link. A corruption that's being halted, or at least delayed, by the brace on his arm. His arm's been seen in teasers since, including in the reveal, whenever the sequel got a release date, and on more than one occasion. Link's had his arm outstretched just as he does in this statue. Some have questioned whether this particular pose is meant to show Link absorbing something through his afflicted arm. Others have speculated this might hint at some sort of transformation ability, while discussions in forums have entertained other ideas. Considering how little Nintendo has shown and shared when it comes to the game, it doesn't look like we're going to get any answers to these sorts of questions about his arm anytime soon. Yeah. Tears? Or tears? I think I can help with the whole Pan-Pam situation. Nintendo has at least given Tears of the Kingdom a release date of May 12th, 2023. So, here's the play. I think at the beginning of the year, we're going to play Breath of the Wild 1. We're going to stream Breath of the Wild 1. That way we get Breath of the Wild 1 taken care of before the second one comes out. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Cool though. Little tidbits there for the new game. League of Legends preseason update makes pings much more useful. Psych, this one's for you. League of Legends pings are about to become much more useful and plentiful whenever this next season starts, with the preseason period set to test an expanded range of ping options for those looking to better communicate with their teams. Updated communication tools being tested on the PBE servers. First ahead of their live releases includes a total of 6 new pings. You love League, dude. Stop. For players to utilize while they coordinate with teammates on what should be done next and what areas players should stay away from. The new pings were detailed recently by Riot in a post going over all things preseason, with communication tools being just one part of a sweeping update. No, you like League. Those who use pings now will recall that the current ping wheel houses 4 different core pings: retreat, on my way, assist me, and enemy missing. Psych's going to love that. Those will also be... Those will also be brought back in their same places. But between each of the established pings and ordinal slots on the ping wheel will be 4 additional options: push, all in, hold, and bait. Those terms should be pretty recognizable already to League players, so it should be helpful to have them assigned to different concrete ping options now, instead of making players translate what someone's contextless ping means. If a bot lane marksman wants to shove a lane before going back, for example, their best ping option currently is to spam the neutral ping on the minion wave so that the support or whoever else is there hopefully understands the request. Soon, players will simply be able to say push instead. That's useful. Yeah, this is going to be the new, right? As opposed to the old. Or this is the whole new one. Yeah. This is what the enemy will see. Yeah. In addition to those new pings, there's a second ping wheel that is being added solely for vision. Enemy vision ping is returning, and it'll be flanked this time by a vision cleared ping on the left and a need vision ping on the right. For those who have trouble keeping up with pings already and are worried about that becoming even more complicated.
That one was on me.
Yeah, absolutely. Miss Bat, what's up? Yo, does that look a little bit better? You guys seeing that text? It was a bit bigger than that, and I got some feedback. I toned it down a bit. I took that text font down just a little bit. I think that looks a little bit better anyways. How are you, Miss Bat? What's up, my friend? For those who have trouble keeping up with pings already and are worried about it becoming even more complicated with these expanded options, Riot is also adding an off-screen ping feature that will make it easier to see where pings came from if they're beyond your immediate perspective. Quote, the last communication change we have for you is a small quality of life update that will notify which direction an off-screen ping came from by displaying it on the edge of your screen, Riot said. Enemy missing pings will show on your screen regardless of where they are pinged on the map, while retreat, on my way, assist me, hold, all in, and push pings will only be displayed if they're pinged within 3,000 units, approximately corner to corner of your screen when fully zoomed out, or 20 TMOs of your screen's edge. All these changes and more will be tested on the PBE servers first before they go live for all players to use. All right, Psych? All right, here you go, Wick. Fortnite. Anybody else that's hanging out that is Fortnite players. Fortnite is adding X23 with adamantium claws to the item shop. This comes not too long after they had Wolverine up in there. Yeah, Wolverine was what, like a couple months ago? I don't know if he's still in there or anything, but Fortnite has added Marvel Hero X23 into the game via the item shop. Fortnite is essentially one big virtual toy box at this point. What started as a competitor to PUBG off the foundation of a somewhat unsuccessful tower defense game quickly became the standard that the world's biggest franchises sought to achieve. Thanks to its ability to curate crossovers left and right with other games, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and other huge franchises, Fortnite had a very attractive gimmick and fun gameplay that lured in lots of players. Its usage of these crossovers, combined with its relatively innovative Battle Pass model, was huge and has changed the way a lot of online games structure themselves. To make things even better, the game regularly adds lucrative a la carte skins that players can purchase for a limited time. The latest addition to the item shop is X23, the successor and biological daughter of Wolverine. The character has been in the comics for some time now, but was famously introduced to a wider mainstream audience in Logan. The character has been added to the item shop with some extra goodies, including her adamantium-coated claws, just like Wolverine himself. You can view the full details of what's included with her skin down below. X-23 outfit, Weapon X clone, and successor to the mantle of the Wolverine, includes a maskless alt style, clone pod back bling, the birthplace of the perfect weapon, included with the X-23 outfit, X-23's adamantium claws pickaxe, skeletal extensions coated in near indestructible metal, X insignia wrap. Get with the program. You can run, but you can't hide. Especially from the stealthy bone-clawed assassin, X-23 is on the prowl and available now in the shop. There you go. X-23. Yo. First of all, I'm really I love Wolverine, man. I always have. Even though he's like an X-Man and I guess a hero, he's always been kind of an anti-hero. He hasn't really flown with, a straight line with a lot of the other X-Men and everything. I've always liked Wolverine, and I'm really excited for what Insomniac is hopefully going to do with this next this Wolverine game that they're creating. But it would be interesting to see what might be able to come about with like some spin-offs on Psychic. Oh, bro. Is this maybe an indicator that there could be some additional stuff coming with X-23? Maybe shows or movies or anything? I don't know. Fortnite is knee deep in its fourth season of Chapter 3, which has seen other Marvel heroes like Spider-Gwen get added to Fortnite. Likely there will be a number of other characters coming to the game in the following month, especially with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever on the horizon. Perhaps we'll get a new Black Panther or Ironheart skin, but it's too soon to say for sure. Okay, so there you go, Fortnite fans. Hideo Kojima posts first images of Ellie Fanning on a set of new game. Yeah, so look, we got a cryptic tweet, was it yesterday or the day before, from Hideo Kojima, showing a silhouette of an actor or actress that is going to be a part of Hideo Kojima's next project, right? It very, very quickly by the fan base got ousted to be Ellie Fanning. Hideo Kojima is one of the most renowned video game developers out there, but he likes to keep some secrecy around his project and let fans bathe in the mystery. As such, he loves to tease and drop small hints to what his next project may entail. When Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain was announced, the game was announced by a fake developer with simply just the subtitle of the game. Players looked closely, however, and noticed Metal Gear Solid 5 was etched into the top of the subtitle's lettering on the title card. Their suspicions were later confirmed, but that didn't stop Kojima and players themselves from creating more mysteries around the game. Last month, Kojima began teasing his next game with teasing his next game with the silhouette of an actress's face, and fairly quickly, people assumed it was Ellie Fanning. Earlier this week, Kojima confirmed the actress was Ellie Fanning and that she'd be starring in his next game. He also began teasing a second actress for the game, and no one has confidently guessed who it may be. Nevertheless, Kojima took to social media to share pictures of Fanning on a stage that's typically used to scan actors into a game. It's largely not used for the actual performance itself, but to scan in the face and possibly the body of the person in question. With that said, it's hard to know how old these are or where in production the game actually is at the moment. That's wild. Gamer, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Heavily speculated that Kojima will continue to tease his next game until December, where it will have a grand unveiling at the Game Awards. It's unclear what the game may be, but a producer at Kojima Productions may have slipped up and revealed that it's a new Death Stranding game. Yeah, we already know there's a new Death Stranding game coming. That's basically been unofficially confirmed. Only time will tell, but it certainly seems like Kojima is eager to talk more about it. Norman Reedus is, the main actor from Death Stranding. And he basically already came out like months ago and let it slip that a new Death Stranding was being developed. So we kind of know that's happening already. So let's see if we get anything new here that we didn't already know. And maybe it'll just inform some people of what the PS Plus games are for October, okay? The PS Plus Extra and Premium games for October 2022 announcement needs to make up for the free games. While the PS Plus free games for October certainly aren't bad, no, they're actually pretty good. The upcoming Extra and Premium announcement has some making up to do. Oh. October is finally here, meaning many gamers are diving into new horror game releases, old favorites, and more in celebration of the season. And many gaming services like Game Pass and Epic Game Store are helping players out there, but not PS Plus. Game Pass's lineup, while still missing half the month, is full of releases like horror game Scorn or the simple RPG Costume Quest. The Epic Game Store brought in 2 Gothic games about hell in the first week, and it's expected both will have a few more releases before the month wraps up. Yeah, so if you're not familiar, obviously Epic Game Store releases gives away usually 2 free games every single week. Game Pass announces new games to their lineup at the beginning and the middle of every month. So here in roughly, 6 days or so, almost at the end of the next week, they will probably announce some nice new Halloween vibe, probably horror games that they're going to put into their Game Pass lineup as well. Meanwhile, the PS Plus free games for October 2022 include Hot Wheels Unleashed, Injustice 2, and Super Hot. All great titles, but whenever I saw this, I also did say, I was like, where are the Halloween vibes at? What's more, some regions are getting bonus games like Rogue Explorer, Crisis Swing, and or Way Down in addition to the 3 core games. But none of these are fitting for the Halloween spooky season, but at least hope isn't over for the company yet. It has yet to announce the PS Plus Extra and Premium games for October. Sony is roughly expected to announce these new PS Plus games sometime between October 10th and 17th, with the games being added around October 21st through the 24th. That's if it's keeping up with the every 2-week releases. It's uncertain what it will add, and it's hard to even venture a guess. After all, Sony has proven time and again that its PS Plus Extra and Premium drops are substantial, but within that means there is plenty of room to at least throw in a few bones for Halloween lovers. What's more, PS Plus Extra and Premium could, in theory, give it the edge this Halloween season over Xbox Game Pass and Epic Game Store if leveraged correctly. Xbox Game Pass is limited to things that can be played on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X consoles. And while that is a huge library, it's not going to release a back-compatible game on Game Pass. Fans would riot. Meanwhile, the Epic Game Store is restricted to things available on PC via its platform. PS Plus Extra and Premium give Sony a huge library of PS1, PS2, PSP, PS3, PS4, and PS5 games to bring in a touch of horror. Sony would absolutely dominate the season if it released games like Dino Crisis for PS1 or any number of classic horror games upgraded via their original platform for the new PS Plus tiers. Of course, Sony has been Halloween agnostic in the past, so there's not a lot of confidence it will push PS Plus in this direction, but it should. They absolutely should, but I'm in that same boat. I don't know that I have a whole lot of confidence in them doing what they should do or what many of us feel like they should do, which is add some spooky titles, right? Redfall release date possibly leaks. Redfall release date may have leaked, and it sounds like some players may be able to get in on the action sooner than others. Redfall is a new game from Arcane Studios, the team that gave players some incredible first-person games like Dishonored, Deathloop, and Prey. However, this one is a bit different as it steers away from being an immersive single-player game, leans more into being a co-op shooter. Players can still play the game in single-player if they choose, but the marketing is certainly showcasing the co-op elements first and foremost. Players will be tasked with slaying vampires in a town in Massachusetts with up to 3 other co-op partners, so it certainly appeals to those who love games like Left 4 Dead. The Xbox exclusive game was intended to release earlier this year, but was delayed to the first half of 2023 alongside Starfield. As of right now, no one knows exactly when the 2 games will release, but a new leak may shed some light on when we can expect Redfall. According to Akami Games, Redfall is reportedly expected to release at the end of March. No specific date was given, but it's also expected that Arcane will offer 1 week of early access to the game for those that pre-order the game and or purchase the deluxe edition. It's unclear how this will work with the game's rollout on Xbox Game Pass, but it does sound like a nice incentive if true. Does it? Here's the thing for me. I am not a fan of this gimmick. Um, to offer early access to a game, if you pre-order it or whatever, um, ultimately, look, I mean, we talked about this earlier, and quite often anymore, I'm so hesitant to pre-order games. Even there are a lot of developers now where I won't play a game from them day one anymore. I won't play a From Software game day one anymore. I won't play a CDPR game day one anymore. Until I see their track record change bit, it just won't happen for me, you know. And I think, you know, if you're gonna offer people early access to a game for a pre-order, cool, but at least give them a taste of what the game is prior to that, you know. Um, get a demo out there, get some betas going, so people have a taste of what the game is potentially going to offer, and they can um, not that a demo or a beta is always going to show exactly what the full release is going to be like, but at least it's something rather than just nothing until the game releases, right? And then you're like, okay, I pre-ordered this thing, I get early access, then the game comes out and it feels like crap, you know? And it's like, this is just a crappy gimmick to get people to buy into something, to spend money when it was a crappy release. You know, it's just another one of those things that I feel like is a bad gimmick for the industry unless the developer has given people an amount of access to the game previously to show them that it is going to be a nice, fairly polished, pretty bug-free experience on release. You know, that's my thing. Um, we've seen trailer stuff of this game. It, for me, hasn't looked super impressive, honestly, but who knows? Looks can be deceiving. As always, this is just a rumor at the moment, so fans should take this with a grain of salt until confirmed. Even if Arcane currently has it slated for March, things could shift back or move up since they have only confirmed a broad 6-month window. Either way, we can probably expect some news on its release date fairly soon. Unless Xbox has an event coming up, the next likely candidate for its appearance is at the Game Awards in December. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of stuff in December, for sure. Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden get 2023 release dates. Persona fans got some good news this weekend with Atlus announcing release dates for both Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden, two games that were previously slated for 2023 release dates. They're still releasing in 2023 as expected, but what people likely weren't anticipating was a simultaneous release. Atlus confirmed this week that both Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden will launch for modern platforms at the same time on January 19th. Wick. Dude. The latest in a long string of Persona announcements was shared on Saturday in a tweet from the Atlus account that confirmed the release date for the two Persona games. This announcement came alongside the release of some new Persona artwork, which has been received quite well by the community so far. As others have pointed out, the tweet only listed Xbox and PC platforms on which the games will release, including the Xbox Game Pass service. That's not the full list, but that's not the full list. The official Persona site advertising these games and more from the biggest Persona anniversary announcements of the year confirmed that the games will still be coming to the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Switch, and PC platforms. So those planning on rounding out the Persona collections on those systems will still be able to do so. I've never played a Persona game. A lot of people really, really like them. And I might need to take a dive into it at some point. As mentioned previously, the latest announcement follows a trend of multiple reveals shared by Atlus this year during Persona's 25th anniversary. A wider release of Persona 5 Royal was one of the biggest announcements. I'm so used to saying Royale anymore because of Battle Royales. A wider release of Persona 5 Royal was one of the biggest announcements given that it's arguably the most familiar of the mainline Persona games and is one that attracted many to the franchise. But for those who recall the older games fondly or want to revisit them now after getting roped in by Persona 5 Royal, these latest announcements should come as welcome news too. Yeah, Atlas has been noted as doing this survey stuff here recently. Atlas has also been asking players what kinds of remakes or remasters they want, as well as what they might be looking for in new games. Fans responded in kind by naming the remakes they'd like to see most of all, but Atlas hasn't announced any set plans for future Persona games or alternate versions of existing titles. You like to see that from a developer, man. Reaching out to the community, reaching out to fans, and trying to find out what they want. Gabs, what's up, my friend? How are you? Sony PlayStation should buy Nintendo before someone else does. I'll be before I even read into this is what I'm going to say. With everything I have seen as of late in regards to Sony PlayStation, I do not want them buying Nintendo. Typical. I guess, so you're not like blown away by it. Is that kind of what I'm gathering there, gamer? Not blown away, but entertaining enough. Is that a good assumption? I think I'm actually really concerned with a lot of the stuff that I've seen from PlayStation here recently. As of recent, a lot of different stuff that is really turning me off on PlayStation. And in my opinion, I would really, really, really rather not have Sony be purchasing Nintendo. This is a significant article here. Well, it's not too bad. Product companies like EA, Ubisoft, and Take-Two are practically begging to be bought up so their execs can add a few more zeros to their bank balance. Yeah, I mean, actually, EA, Ubisoft, and Square Enix were three of the companies that we had been paying close attention to, which were rumored to be in a position to sell this year. But while Square did sell off some of its studios, they're all still their own companies right now. But Ubisoft has looked like they were going to sell as well. Many have noted this sort of thing doesn't tend to happen with Japanese companies, and there's a misapprehension that it is impossible for a foreign company to buy a Japanese one. This is not true. There might be a bit more red tape, but it happens all the time. There's no law against. What does tend to happen with Japanese companies, though, is that they usually merge with others in order to avoid an unwanted takeover. It's not ideal, but it's better than just being bought up as an impulse purchase by some uncaring multinational. That's why so many Japanese companies have double-barreled names. Bandai Namco, Koei Tecmo, Spike Chunsoft, Sega Sammy, and even Square Enix were all once single companies before merging into one giant one in order to better compete with even ever larger rivals. My headline was obviously giving away what I'm getting at here, but I strongly believe Sony and Nintendo should be next. Whether they merge or Sony buys Nintendo, as happened with Sega Sammy, when one company was much bigger than the other, isn't really important. What does matter, though, is that they're two companies that are strongly invested in and fully understand games and won't just end up as the 49th most important subsidiary of Google or Apple. Sony cannot compete with Microsoft in terms of money. We've already seen that. And that is going to be more and more of a problem as streaming and Game Pass style subscriptions begin to dominate gaming. Look, Game Pass is already changing gaming. There's no doubt about it. Game Pass, I've talked about this a lot here lately. And you can take a look back at like what Netflix did with changing, the live streaming entertainment industry with movies and TV series, stuff like that. Netflix really changed that whole industry, and they were the catalyst for the change, and you saw it get move the industry away from physical copies. Nobody, all the physical stores shut down. um, you're gonna see, and we're already seeing a big change, and it's not as big of a thing for Microsoft changing the video game industry over from physical to digital, because that's just by proxy something that has happened with technology over time. But Xbox's Game Pass is absolutely changing the way people are getting access to titles. Instead of just buying physical game one at a time or whatever, subscription service, right, is kind of the way of the future for us. There's no doubt about it. And Xbox is, absolutely leading the way with this. I think another way that their subscription service actually stands out over anything else is their day one releases. You get day one releases on Game Pass where other subscription services don't give you that. So I don't know. It's definitely an industry changing incorporation and concept that they have going, and it's their moneymaker. Microsoft doesn't make money. Xbox doesn't make money on their consoles, if you didn't know that. They actually lose money on their consoles. They make money off their software, and they make money on Game Pass. That's where it's at for Microsoft. There's very little crossover between the two companies in terms of tech or exclusive games, so I feel they would complement each other very well. They'd also be able to properly support the third-party scene in Japan, and perhaps even end up buying other publishers in order to keep them out of the hands of other tech rivals. I prefer all of these companies remain separate and independent, but that time is over, and instead we have to consider the least worst option for who owns who. I strongly believe that Sony and Nintendo as a merged company would be the best deterrent possible against non-gaming companies buying up the entirety of the gaming industry. I think that's my big issue, though, is Sony is not entirely a gaming company, right? And I think we're starting to see a big part of what Sony is as just a business take a huge forefront of their gaming division as well. A lot of what I'm seeing coming out from Sony is concerning. It doesn't seem to be about quite often what we see with a lot of big developers and everything, and we talk about it a lot, right, is it seems like they get so tunnel visioned in on just money. Look, I get it. It's a business, right? This is an industry. It's a business. You got to make money and everything. But there is absolutely something to be said for, in this gaming industry, making money through keeping your fan base happy, creating great content, and that's a win-win situation. Whenever you stop creating good content, you stop caring about your community, you stop caring about your fan base, and you solely are focused on money, you start losing. And that's what a lot of what I've seen coming out of Sony here lately is what I'm seeing. And I don't know. I think that I understand why this, they're Japanese companies and it would make sense, but I don't know that would be the best thing necessarily with everything I've seen coming out of PlayStation here lately and Sony. I could be wrong. That's just my perception, though. Bully 2 could release after Grand Theft Auto 6. Rockstar Games Insider suggests. There's a chance. Look, man, people have been asking for Bully forever from Rockstar. Rockstar just doesn't really want to do anything else besides Grand Theft Auto. It is not a secret, okay? There's a chance we could get Bully 2 after Grand Theft Auto 6, according to an insider. Bully is one of Rockstar's most unique and beloved games outside of the Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption franchises. Took some of the basic ideas of those two games with a big open world where you could cause a more grounded, significantly less illegal amount of mayhem. You played as an angsty kid who was sent off to a boarding school, had to figure out how to survive in a school filled with various cliques and power dynamics. It was extremely fresh, and a sequel was something that was seemingly going to happen at one point. But everything changed once Grand Theft Auto 5 entered development, and certainly once it was released as well. Because once Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, basically everything else just got nixed. That's all they wanted to do. That's all they really focused on was Grand Theft Auto 5. Everything else took a backseat or just got basically thrown in the trash can. Various details and pieces of concept for Bully 2 have leaked over the years, but it seems to be a game that keeps getting pushed under the rug in favor of bigger, more ambitious projects that require more manpower. According to Rockstar Insider Tez 2, there's a chance that the developer could return to Bully 2 after it finishes Grand Theft Auto 6. The sequel was reported in development for 2 years, which means there could be something to salvage together. Rockstar Games could also carry over some systems from other games to help streamline the process a bit more. Given Bully 2 would likely be a much smaller game relative to a new Red Dead or GTA game, seems like something that could really benefit Rockstar Games. The developer had massive gaps between releases and has led to impatient fans. If the developer could figure out a way to make a few smaller games relative to the size of its more recent releases, it could likely both prevent fatigue from GTA and Red Dead, but also help fill the gap. Look, this is speculative. I don't really like diving into these, theoretical, scenario-based, speculative kind of articles and stuff. And they're not wrong in the fact that it would probably be good for Rockstar, but being realistic about Rockstar actually doing this, noting their history, I don't see it happening. I just don't. Because all Rockstar really cares about is Grand Theft Auto. And that's the way it's been for years and years and years now. Even Red Dead got... There was a good community around Red Dead Online. And they were just constantly up in arms over the past couple of years because they would get nothing. They would get nothing. No kind of consistent or substantial content updates. And it's because just everything went to Grand Theft Auto. Everything. And there are a lot of fans of these other titles and that are just always just like, are we ever going to get anything else? Are we ever going to get, are you guys ever going to work on the other games that we like? And it would be, I mean, I remember reading articles where it was like GTA 5 would get these huge updates, huge content updates. GTA 5 Online, would get these huge updates. And then Red Dead Online would get like some chaps. The entire community would just be like freaking, like, you've got to be kidding me, It was kind of comical, but at the same time, really, really sad. So, gamer, same as any other game. Talking about Overwatch 2 nowadays, you level up. The more you play, the more you unlock. Upgrade to the premium edition, you get to unlock a lot more as you level up. Yeah, the battle pass stuff. Yep, that's exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm. And GTA 5 will be strong, even though GTA 6 will release in the future. Yeah. I mean, GTA 5 is huge. That's a huge, huge, huge game, and I think people will absolutely transition over, but there's going to be an amount of people that probably will be hesitant to transition over because of all the time they've spent and everything they've kind of developed in that world. I don't think so. I don't think GTA 6... we don't have a ton of details on it yet, but no, I don't think that GTA 6 is only coming to PS5. No. I don't think so. I don't think they've announced officially yet, but again, this is not official stuff, but leaks suggest the game will be exclusive to PS5 and Microsoft Series X and S, which means it'll also be on PC. Yeah, this is kind of some of the stuff that I had seen as well. Yeah. So I don't think it's super official yet because we're still a ways away. But yeah, that's what I had seen so far. Yeah. Atari Anniversary Collection full list of games possibly revealed in retailer leak. Hey, let's watch this real quick. Atari 50th anniversary, guys.
It was the thing that made video games a worldwide phenomenon. That
Sacred
changed
Jam.
the world. Literally changed the world.
Hello, y'all.
All this inspiration that came from Atari gets to come full circle and see it through this lens.
It's the most fun I've
Yeah,
ever
gamer.
had making a game.
Yep. Yep.
Adventure really
Absolutely,
broke the mold
dude.
for what the 2600 was capable of.
In the beginning, there was only Atari, and the children.
See that guy's DeLorean in the background? That was sick.
I would literally
If that was
entire weekend playing
real
Star Raiders.
and not just like some green screen
Atari
background.
created the video game industry.
Yeah, it looks
And everything
real.
That's come since then is building on what Atari created.
Now, why he had a Ghostbusters logo on there, I don't know. I can't wait, guys. All right. Atari 50th, the Atari 50, the anniversary collection is meant to be arriving at some point before the end of this year on Switch. If you have been wondering what games will be included in this upcoming release by Digital Eclipse, you just might be in luck. A retailer located in the Netherlands may have potentially revealed the full list of games that will be included in the anniversary celebration. As previously revealed, this collection, will have over 90 games spanning multiple generations, including the Atari 2600, 5200, 7800, ST, Jaguar, and Lynx. The retailer leak suggests there will be more than 100 playable games. Here's what's included on this page listing. All the games from like all these Atari. Yeah, I'll link it in here so you guys can take a look. Okay. New Xbox Game Pass game gains over 500,000 players after release. The first wave of October Xbox Game Pass games started releasing this week, and for one of those games, those subscribed to the Xbox program have already ushered in a significant wave of new players. Torn Banner Studios indicated as much as this week by confirming that the medieval multiplayer game Chivalry 2 had gained over 500,000 new players after its Xbox Game Pass arrival. Considering how the game supports cross-play across Xbox, PlayStation, and PC platforms, that's good news, not just for Xbox, but for the games community overall, absolutely. Torn Banner tweeted about the massive influx of Chivalry 2 players this week on Friday while saying it's thrilled to welcome so many new knights to the field. It's worth pointing out, too, that Chivalry 2 landed on Xbox Game Pass on a Tuesday. So this first weekend that it's been playable via the subscription service should lead to even more players joining the busy brawls. This Xbox Game Pass release was planned for the perfect time as well, given that the game got its big reinforced update on the same day. That update includes a new Hippodrome arena in which players can fight, as well as the Katars, the first dual-wielded weapons that Chivalry 2 has ever gotten. Other changes and additions were included in the same update to give players new and old plenty to do. For Xbox Game Pass subscribers planning on downloading the game through that subscription to play with people on other platforms, it's worth pointing out that crossplay only exists in the game as far as general matchmaking is concerned. That means that you'll play against others on different platforms, but you can't currently party up with someone who's on a non-Xbox device. Now that Chivalry 2 is out on Game Pass, subscribers have several other games to look forward to over the next couple of days. The rest of October's first wave of games includes Custom Quest Evil, Dyson Sphere program Scorn. It's coming this Friday. Oh, and A Plague Tale Requiem. Yes. on the 18th. About halfway through the month, we should expect another list of games from Xbox to be shared to round out the rest of October. All right, man. Cool. All right, guys, here we go. This is the last article I have for the day, okay, for our news segment. Then we'll be moving on to day 3 of Dead Space 3 Zealot difficulty, okay? So, if you have anything to add that I haven't touched on, you would like to discuss, anything pertinent to the gaming industry, video gaming news, let me know in chat, and I'll address it before we move on to our gaming stuff for the rest of the day, okay? PlayStation's remakes and remasters keep making the same mistake. We've talked a lot about this here recently. PlayStation has been doing a lot of this. There are other companies that have been doing a lot of this, which a lot of the gaming community doesn't necessarily agree with. There are definitely appropriate times to do remasters and remakes for games. Whenever a game is 4 to 5 years old, that doesn't feel like the time for a game needing a remaster or a remake. And that makes the developer seem very scared to take on any kind of new content. It makes them seem like they are out of ideas to do anything new, which can't be the case because there are so many other long-standing, well-loved, iconic IPs out there that need to be revamped. And it's just really wild that we keep seeing this kind of thing happen in the industry, right? PlayStation is noted. As of recent, especially, The Last of Us Part 1 is being remastered. And now we have the remaster of this title as well. Why am I blanking it? Horizon Zero Dawn, right? So the PlayStation gaming library is known for its quality exclusives, but it also keeps making the same mistake by releasing remasters and remakes of games that are too recent to warrant it. Most notably, the recent Last of Us remake. So The Last of Us is a remake, not a remaster. I think I said remaster before. Video game fans are no strangers to being sold the same game repeatedly, but Sony has pushed the trend too far. The Last of Us released with separate versions of the PS3, the PS4, and PS5. Horizon Zero Dawn is following suit as the PS4 game is being remastered for PS5. Releasing a remaster of a remake of a beloved game from several generations prior can introduce a new generation to a classic, or significantly improve on its original presentation. Demon's Souls, right? Very appropriate. To have Demon's Souls, a game that came out on PS3, man, when was that? Like 2012, maybe? It had to at least be a decade old. Something like that. Maybe even a little bit older. Demon's Souls was. It was definitely, I remember buying the game. I have the collector's edition of Demon's Souls. But to remake Demon's Souls, I feel like was a good play. You know, two generations of console had come out at that point. They were like, let's remake it. Let's put it on the PS5. You know, let's totally remake the game. Cool. I feel like that's appropriate. But a lot of what they're doing does not. When a game is only a generation old, or a remake or remaster feels opportunistic, and the news of the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster has been met with more backlash than enthusiasm. Every current gaming console has its fair share of remasters and releases, and some of these have been more welcome than others. Much of the Switch's first-party library initially consisted of ports of Wii U games. Yeah. A console, that's Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart on the Switch is Mario Kart from Wii U. A console that Nintendo abandoned far too soon thanks to a relatively low installation base. Though recent Xbox consoles have leaned into backward compatibility over remasters. They still host the likes of Halo, the Master Chief Collection, and Rare Replay. Excuse me. Yet Sony's handling of quickly remastering or remaking high-profile PlayStation titles still stands out in the industry. The PS2 classic Shadow of the Colossus was remastered on PS3, and then received a remake on PS4, both handled by Bluepoint Games. remakes of Demon's Souls and The Last of Us 1 are presented as supposedly compelling arguments to purchase a PS5, but many would prefer to see more original PS5 games instead. I think I was cool with Demon's Souls. I didn't even play the PS5 version, but I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, that was a pretty old title at that point. We're talking like a decade, you know? I think somewhere around there. If it wasn't a decade, it was close to it. And it was 2 generations away. So I was cool with that. But, I mean, you talk about something like Horizon Zero Dawn. And I'm like, what's the thought process there? Other than just trying to, you know, suck as much money out of people as you can and being scared to dive into anything different, you know? When Sony purchased Bluepoint Games, it made sense to many given the long working relationship between the companies, but also based on the PlayStation's infamous cycle of releasing games. The developer has not released an original game since 2006. While some hope they will now have a chance to, Sony's track record suggests otherwise. Recent original game IPs like Elden Ring and Disco Elysium received critical acclaim, excuse me, and PlayStation fans are hungry for sequels to genre classics like Bloodborne or cult favorites like Days Gone. Putting resources behind remasters of games that are already a few generations old can showcase those titles in a jaw-dropping new light. Doing the same for games only a generation old has diminishing returns, as most of those games still hold up well in their original forms. Absolutely. Look, we're actually playing a game right now from 2000. We were playing, okay. Dead Space 1 is 2008, and that game feels good, you know. They're finally remaking it, and cool. I think that's awesome. I think Dead Space being remade is deserved. It's iconic. But the original holds up. It really does. And we're talking about a game that was made in 2000. So we're 14 years, you know? And then, you know, you take that into comparison of a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is like 4 to 5 years old now. That's it. And Sony's like, yeah, we need to go ahead and remaster that. Why? That doesn't make any sense. PlayStation needs to work on adding its back catalog, not remakes. For fans who played Shadow of the Colossus on PS2, seeing its PS4 remake can be awe-inspiring. But those who already enjoyed its PS3 remaster found less reason to get excited about yet another release of the game. A Goldeneye Remaster has been officially confirmed 25 years after its original Nintendo 64 release, which is more justified than Horizon Zero Dawn's remaster announcement just 5 years after its launch. Gaming preservation is an ongoing battle, and having access to some of the greatest classics of yesteryear on currently available hardware is always a good thing for the consumer. The issue becomes murkier when full-price remasters are offered as the sole means of access, as opposed to simple backward compatibility, which PlayStation sucks at, and digital sales of the original version. Exactly. So, PlayStation is trash at giving its fan base and consumers backward compatibility. They are not good about it, and it feels bad. At a time when Sony should focus on presenting its revamped PlayStation Plus service as a legitimate competitor to Game Pass, it is counterintuitive to announce remakes of games that are still fresh in players' minds. Sony has opted not to add new first-party games as day-one additions to the service like Game Pass. I've talked a lot about that here recently. But PS Plus can make up for this by tapping into more generations of fondly remembered gaming hits. There are many classic PlayStation games PS Plus should add next, alongside digital sales of those titles for non-subscribers. With huge swaths of PlayStation history still unplayable for the PS5, Sony would be better off adding to the PS1 and PS2 games available digitally or working on PS3 emulation that does not require streaming. Few gaming fans truly get excited about a remaster of a 5-year-old game, showing that PlayStation is again targeting stockholders, not consumers. This showing that PlayStation is again concerned about solely money and not its fan base, not creating quality content, and it is already starting to negatively affect them. And it shows. It feels so bad, dude. I used to, I used to be a big PlayStation fan, and I traditionally stayed away from Xbox stuff because I did not have a great experience with Xbox stuff throughout my history. Hardware-wise, peripheral-wise, Xbox stuff did not hold up for me, and I treat my stuff very well. Yo, it's random mode time, guys. I treat my product, my things very nicely. I take pride in, my belongings, the things that I have, and I take very good care of my stuff. But Xbox stuff traditionally did not hold up for me, and so I gravitated more towards consoles, the PlayStation side of things. But I can tell you, over the past year of everything that I've seen, I am definitely leaning the other way. Everything I've seen about PlayStation is really, really turning me off for that company. And everything I'm seeing from Xbox is, especially from the head of Xbox, from Phil Spencer, is really refreshing and is really, really making me lean more towards Xbox in between, comparing those two companies. Yeah. Nice, Gaps. Let's get a random mode in here. Oh, it's a puppers, dude. It's Doji. All right, guys. That's what I got. That's what I got for video gaming news today. Yeah. You guys rock. Happy weekend, man. I hope everybody's weekend's going well. I know we've had some illness in the community, just people being sick. I think it's the season's changing over and everything. Nice, Miss Bat. All right, man. Look, Miss Bat already getting ready for holidays, dude. Fantastic. They're coming right around the corner. You guys rock. I appreciate you. Great news segment. They always are. And thanks first and foremost to everybody that's part of this community. And especially a shout out to everybody that was part of the gaming news segment today, video gaming news segment today. Okay. You guys rock. I appreciate you. If you're viewing this content on YouTube and you're enjoying what we do here in the video gaming news, then see what you can do about coming and hanging out with me and the rest of this amazing community when we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. We start off all of our streams with video gaming news, okay? Other than that, you guys just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another. We'll catch everybody tomorrow for October 10th edition of Video Gaming News, all right?